I've started to realize that there becomes a particular problem when a community refuses to acknowledge that they are a community, when a community refuses to even acknowledge that there is a problem, when a community is so scared to identify the problem, being that the colored people have been oppressed and victims of oppression and racism, to the point where this problem is even bypassed by several black communities within themselves who feel the need to resort to being so complacent, being so passive, to kind of brushing the situations that inflict the colored communities under the carpet, instead of actually raising the concern towards the school systems, which have neglected to grade or to teach or to cater towards the situation in which colored people are faced with, due to the fact that the school system by itself is not made for colored people. It is made for white people. You are taught white biology. You are reading textbooks written by white people. There is never an acknowledgement that within the colored community that the teachings are so false, that everything we are being taught is to be raised by a concern. But because we are in a land where perhaps we are outnumbered, we feel the need to kind of confide to this community. We don't actually understand how important it is to bring a sense of justice or a sense of community within our own, and we're too afraid to do so, because the main underlying factor that causes this fear is the fact that we may be displeasing our white teacher or our white neighborhood, or the good old white man on the street who has made it blatantly clear that you may be perceiving him waving at you with a smile when he is waving you the heck off and out and far away from his community. The only people who cannot see this are the colored people. And the colored people, perhaps due to their inability or their lack of initiative to actually grow, to actually proceed in educational resources, to actually inquire about how to make it out and to change, you will find that the mentality amongst these colored people just remains static. It remains stationary, and it remains a concern as far as the political structure is concerned, given that the colored masses have been controlled by the media, controlled by society, controlled by the profiling of the white community, to the point where we take it so personal when we are singled out, and when we strive to grow and change, the backlash, not only from the white community but from the our own community is concerned, becomes a problem. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, that's your brother, that's your sister, that's your family, right? That's your friend. Those are your people who you're taking down. And somehow you've convinced in yourself and in your head that you are doing the right thing. You've convinced in yourself that this is an area, this is a particular justice that needs to be served, because the law that you serve has questioned and actually shown a lack of favor towards the colored people, delegating the statistics which prove that colored people have the lowest social income, that colored people have the lowest progress in the educational system. This is only true within the white communities. You can go to any other community, black community, that is not in America, that is not within the Western world. And I guarantee you, you will find educated, well-rounded people. You will find university and infrastructure, and you will find resources. The problem is the colored people have been so convinced that the only resources available to them are white resources. And it's because of this there has been that complacent attitude to where colored people are only ever going to feel like they are making progress if the white masses imply that they are doing so, if the white masses treat them as if they are playing their position in society, which is nothing more than the role of being a boy, nothing more than being obedient to everybody who is not of color, and rather than helping their community out. There is a need to further distill further insecurity, false teachings within the children, and false ideals, false beliefs, and false perceptions in the level of progress, in the level of discomfort. And this is the situation that you will find, because the level of change, or should I say the progress, becomes very limited. Sadly, the limited mindset that the white education system has systematically indoctrinated into colored people, let me tell you, it is not even an education. It is not an education because, number one, the education system was designed by whites. It was designed from white doctors on white textbooks who have completely, during that time it was made, void the black community from ever even being considered as part of a group of people capable of reading or transcending beyond the role of farmers or white laborers. And the issue is because the black community has failed to actually evolve the infrastructure and the general establishments of themselves, that there will always lie a deep hole, to the point where there will never be a sense of growth. There will never be an initiative unless the communities, the colored communities as a whole, gather together, right? There needs to be colored, just a sense of colored upbringing, right? There is no way you can teach a colored kid to be white. It will not work. It will hurt that kid in the long run. It will leave him in mental deterioration. And as a matter of fact, the levels of racism and the levels of oppression that kid will experience will be even worse than if he were to pursue his life as an independent young black warrior or black intelligent person. Due to the fact that white people are very intelligent, they know black people are isolated from their law. They know that there's no such thing within America, as far as they are concerned, as a black person who can actually rise in their education system, who can actually take their resources, who can actually establish something within their communities. This doesn't exist as far as they're concerned. So should they find a colored person trying to bring that into existence, that colored person will be scrutinized, they will be alienated, isolated, treated nothing more than the jungle which white people have painted on paper about where black people come from, without actually investing any time to understand the roots and the situations along with the dynamics that colored people face. And as long as this level of thinking affects the black community, there will always be a need to change. There will always be a need to grow, to actually understand what in particular is holding the colored community back, and most importantly, what is it going to take actually for colored people to just put their differences to the side, to stop getting so emotional amongst each other, to start fighting over small things like you owe him $10 for a gram, or you find yourself in a position where you're fighting over the same lady. Like, it's these small things, these tiny breadcrumbs that somehow are able to spontaneously cause an outburst within the black community, due to the fact that the whites have seriously psychologically indoctrinated this inferiority and this insecurity into the black people, to the fact where we neglect to realize how big the world is outside of white societies, to the fact where we neglect to realize that our place and our position and our potential, along with who we are as people, does not lie in the hands of white societies. And this is the main thing that you as a colored person should know.